This is Travis Michelson with Integrity Cleaning Systems. We're going to do another stain tip removal video this month. And it's the month of March 2014. And we're going to go ahead and discuss how to get beer out of a carpet. Because I like to do things a little bit extreme. We're not going to just do beer. We're going to do green beer in honor of St. Patty's Day. Now this is actually going to make it a lot harder because what they use to dye the beer green is typically a green food coloring. This is a dye. If you have unprotected carpet and this dye gets into the dye sites of your carpet, even when you remove the beer, it may leave the dye in the fiber, creating a stain. Now, half this carpet is protected, half this carpet is not. There's a good chance I'm not going to be able to get this out 100% on the side that's not protected. So let's go ahead and get right to the stain removal tips. All right, here we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to spill a little bit of this green beer. And by the way, I'm using Miller Highlight. It's a light colored beer, so the green shows up pretty good. We're going to spill a little bit over here, and we're going to spill a little bit over here on the unprotected side. We're going to see how the two different sides clean up separately. It's actually going to show you the value of the carpet protector as well. Now, not all protectors make beads on carpets. You'll see that in a lot of commercials where it's going to bead up. That's not what all protectors do. Sometimes the protector doesn't bead up depending on the carpet construction. It lets the stain slip between the fibers but doesn't penetrate into the carpet itself. Now typically when you get a spill, it's going to sit there for a few minutes before you get there. So while I'm letting this sit here and penetrate a little bit to make it a little bit more difficult, I want to go ahead and tell you some of the key things that I do in these stain videos. I want to give you tips that, one, is going to give you the best chance of removing the stain without damaging the fibers. I see a lot of things on YouTube that shows you really scrubbing at fibers with a brush or something. A lot of those things that might get the spot out, but it's going to damage the fiber in the process, and that's going to create a wear pattern, or the tip's going to fray, called tip looming, or scratch the shaft of the carpet. Whatever it does, it's going to start reflecting light different, and it's going to ugly out. It's going to prematurely age the carpet, or have what we call apparent soiling, where it looks dirty even when it's not because of a shadow. And once that happens, there's really nothing you can do to fix it. That's permanent damage. So I always approach it from the standpoint of, let's give you the best options to remove it without taking a chance of damaging it or setting the stain permanently where even a professional can't get it out. Okay, so these have been sitting here for a few minutes. I just want to point a few things out. Now you can see over here, there's some areas that are beading. It's just based on how close the carpet fibers are together in those areas. And there's some areas that slip between the fibers. But if you compare that to over here where you can see that it actually went into the fiber, more so than over here where it's kind of slipped between or it's beating up on top. This is going to be much easier to get out than this is over here. Okay, so as always with anything, you want to start by getting as much out as you can by just transferring it to a towel. Now if you have a wet dry vac, here is a great time to use it. What you do is just take the end of the hose and just run it across the surface. Don't dig it in, but run it across the surface of the fiber and extract it out. And it'll be the same thing as using a towel. It'll just work a lot better. But if you don't have a wet dry vac, just use a towel and apply direct pressure. Now you don't want to rub at it here. You're just pressing down. I can already feel the towel getting wet. You can probably see it as it's soaking into the towel. You can also use what's called a tapping technique. You can use the back of your hand. You can use a shoe, where you just kind of tap it. And this will help transfer the stain up into the towel. And once you complete, another thing that you can do which will help with this absorbing of the stain is once you get as much up as you can, take a fresh towel, set on, and put something heavy on the towel and leave it there for a period of time. And that'll push the towel into the carpet backing and help absorb up additional residue. But that's always the last step. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to pause the video for 1 second, go grab a fresh towel. I poured quite a bit of beer on this thing, so it's getting into the towel quite a bit. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got a fresh towel here. So what we want to do is just continue to apply pressure to these spots until you stop getting any type of transfer to the towel. Now, if you happen to be watching this anywhere other than my blog, if you're seeing it on YouTube, Vimeo, or any other video sharing site, or even Facebook, you may want to click the link that's right next to the video. It's going to take you over to my blog, where underneath the blog it's going to give you some additional written instructions, including how to make your own spotter chemical if you don't have the one that I recommend to my clients. Highly recommend you stay away from a lot of the over-the-counter stuff, the Resolves, the OxyCleans, etc. In my experience, they do more damage than good. They're really highly alkaline, and they may take a spot out, but leave so much alkaline residue that it attracts soil, and you end up getting a dirt spot on there really quick as it attracts the soil off your shoes in that area. So I prefer to stay away from those products. Now, once you absorb as much up as you can, you want to take a fresh towel, and we're going to start just by dipping it in some water. You always want to use your cleaning solution as the very last result, or last chance. So we're going to see if we can absorb any more of it up with just water. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm just moving it around and applying direct pressure. You can even massage it a little bit. What you never want to do is rake across the fiber. That's where you can create damage. But if you stay in one place and just massage the fibers, that works fine and doesn't create damage. And one thing, you always start on the outer edge of the stain, which this one's pretty much already up completely. That's gone. We're good to go on this side. This side, I can still see a little bit of a haze of green. It actually came out better than I expected. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit harder to get this one out, but this is the carpet remnant that I purchased, and I think there was a little bit of protection already built into this fiber. And then on this side, I added my own aftermarket protection. But we're doing a pretty good job getting it out. Now, if you were using a wet dry vac, once you do the initial sucking out of the beer, what you'd want to do is take some water, kind of pour a little bit into the same area, work it in just a little bit, and then extract that out with the wet dry vac as well. And keep doing that until all the beer residue is gone. Because beer typically, or any liquid, the liquid itself isn't hard to get out of the carpet. There's two things to worry about. Any dyes in the liquid, which can create the stain, or the fact that a lot of it has like sugars and stuff in it, and that residue, if it's left in the fiber, will become a sticky residue that soil is going to stick to. So, and this is one of those times where this video did not work as well as I thought it would, because this actually came out much easier than it was supposed to. Let's assume for a second that you still had a stain after using the water. You would go to your cleaning solution, either the one that I recommend. You can use Spot Shot from Home Depot is a good one, that's an aerosol, or you can follow the instructions under the video on how to make your own with a laundry detergent mixed with water. You go through the same process. Apply the spot remover directly to the towel, work it into the fiber, transfer as much up as you can, and then rinse with water. If the stain persists after you stop getting transfer to the towel using your spotting agent, if there's still a stain there, that means it got into the fiber. This is a little bit more risky of a technique, but you can try it. Mix 50-50 hydrogen peroxide with some water. Let's pretend there was still some green right here. You would just mist this on that area and then cover it with a piece of saran wrap. What this does is it goes in and it chemically alters color and makes it translucent. Putting a piece of saran wrap over it keeps it wet longer. That enables it to be active and working longer, because as soon as it dries, it stops working. So put a piece of saran wrap over it for a couple of hours and let it sit. I'm going to pause right now and answer the phone. So the piece of saran wrap is going to help keep it wet longer and stay active. After a couple hours, remove the saran wrap. If the color's still there, you may want to call a professional. They have techniques and some chemistry that's a little bit more advanced that you use on the home front. Now, there is a risk to doing this technique because it is a color reducer. If your carpet's older and the dye sites in the fiber are weak at all, you can actually reduce the color out of the carpet as well. That typically doesn't happen in newer carpet where the dye sites are still heat set right, but on an older carpet it can happen, so you typically want to test this in an inconspicuous spot, check it out, make sure you're not going to cause color loss. Best bet is just hire a professional at that point and let them do it the proper way. So that's how you get beer out of a carpet. Hope that helped. If you have any questions, please comment under this video or on the blog post or wherever it is. I'll be notified and I'll try to answer your question. Look forward to another stain removal video in the near future. If you have any ideas of what you would like to see me remove from a carpet, go ahead and post that under here as well, and hopefully I'll make a video about that particular stain at some point in the near future. Have a great day.